Welcome to this episode of Service to Humanity, a program designed to bring you up to date on the activities of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. I am Habib Zoksok. The last couple of weeks have been quite busy for the ministry as it sought to flag off the cash grant to rural women in all the remaining states of the Federation. In this move to alleviate poverty, the minister has promised that no one will be left behind. And so, our program tonight will bring you highlights from some of the states visited recently, the acknowledgements by stakeholders, the endorsement by state executives, as well as the joy of beneficiaries. All of this coming your way in our program. We will also bring you a report of a recent event by one of the agencies under the Humanitarian Ministry, NACTIP, as it rolls out its intervention that will help it in achieving its mandate of fighting the scourge of human trafficking in Nigeria. All of this coming your way after this short break. Stay tuned.
Across the 6 geopolitical zones.
They should use this money for what it is meant for, seriously, to take care of their family.
In 36 states and the FCT. Over 6.4 million of Nigerians poorest of the poor in about 1.3 million households receive conditional cash transfers of 5,000 naira monthly under the Household Upliftment Program of the federal government. Their joy knows no bound.
And the government very well because they did well for us.
It's helped me to do any other thing, my family.
Reducing absolute poverty, promoting shared prosperity through the Conditional Cash Transfer Initiative. The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development in service to humanity.
The program starts with highlights of news events from the Humanitarian Ministry. In our lineup, N-Creative beneficiaries graduate after 3 months of training. This and more in our management diary.
The 3-month training for the 1,500 young Nigerians from the Northern Zone under the N-Creative arm of the N-Power scheme has come to an end. The N-Creative is an arm of the N-Power which is aimed at making young Nigerians acquire a lifelong skill in video editing, script writing, animation and voice acting. At the closing ceremony held on Monday, 15th March 2021, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk congratulated the beneficiaries on their successful completion of the scheme. She urged them to put their time to good use while assuring them that all outstanding allowance will be paid to them. As part of the package to help them put their training into practice, trainees were given laptops and flash drives as working tools. The Permanent Secretary Bashir Nura Al-Ghali, as well as the N-Power Coordinator Insikak Okon, both called on the beneficiaries to make good their training and justify the federal government's investment in them by being shining examples to other youths. The N-Power is a brainchild of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration as a program for young people between the ages of 18 to 35 to equip them with life skills in various sectors. The United Nations and the federal government, along with development partners, have launched the 2021 Humanitarian Response Plan for the northeastern part of Nigeria, ravaged by insurgency. The Humanitarian Response Plan is a collective vision for humanitarian action in 2021, which requires $1 billion to enable the partners provide critical services to the 6.4 million most vulnerable people in Borno, Yobe and Adamawa states for the year 2021. Speaking at the event, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk expressed the commitment of the federal government to meeting the needs of the people in the affected areas, especially in ensuring their safety, security and the delivery of life-saving assistance to those in need in collaboration with the international humanitarian community. Other stakeholders at the virtual event included the United Nations Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator Edward Callon, an advocate of the Borno State Network of Women-Led Civil Society Organizations, Ms. Anne Derman, amongst other interest parties, who reiterated their commitment to the plight of the vulnerable and people of concern in the Northeast.
You are watching Service to Humanity. The cash grant for rural women was flagged off last year as yet another initiative of the Buhari administration to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. The target is to reach about 150,000 women from the 774 local government areas of the Federation and the FCT with this cash grant. Our report today takes Niger State, north-central Nigeria, and Akwa Ibom State, south-south Nigeria. Let's see how the ceremonies went.
The Guape Cultural Troupe entertained the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, in Niger State for the flag-off ceremony of the cash grant for rural women in the state. As the ceremony progressed, the Special Advisor and Focal Person, NSIP Niger State, Barrister Amina Musa Gwar, said the Minister is in Niger State to oversee the program and make the people of Niger State happy. She encouraged the women of Niger State to make use of the money as expected of them, as this will make them independent and happy women in the society.
Honorable Minister is the overseer of all programs related to the poor and vulnerable people in the society. And that is why she is here today to perform her usual role of putting smiles on the faces of women in Niger State.
Some critical stakeholders in the state, in their goodwill messages, lauded the efforts of the federal government and the ministry for the different strategies adopted in the eradication of poverty, while calling on the minister to keep up with the good work and always remember the people of Niger State.
For rural women here in Niger State, this cash...
When the minister addressed the guests, she explained that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is committed to lifting Nigerians out of poverty through the social investment programs, which has impacted the lives of the poor and vulnerable.
As part of efforts of government to eradicate poverty and hunger across the country, it established national social investment programs that enhances social inclusion and protection of the most vulnerable groups in the country, and it is one of the biggest social protection programs in Africa. The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has demanded to manage and formulate the implementation of fair, focused social protection and inclusion programs in this country through its national social investment programs. The ministry seeks not only to cater for the immediate needs of community, but also develop policies and programs that address the root causes of socioeconomic vulnerabilities by economically empowering communities and building their resilience against vulnerabilities such as food insecurity and poverty.
She said that the cash transfer to rural women was an initiative to further the cause of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty.
As part of President Muhammadu Buhari's vision to lift 100 million out of poverty in 10 years, the federal government, through my ministry, introduced the special cash grant program for rural women being flagged off today. It is designed to provide a one-off grant of 20,000 naira to the poorest and most vulnerable women in rural Nigeria to increase their access to financial capital required for economic activities. The grant is disbursed to cover 150,000 poor and rural women across 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. A total number of 4,000 beneficiaries are to benefit from the cash grant of 20,000 naira each in Niger State to uplift their socio-economic status.
The minister urged the women to use the grant wisely while assuring the people of Niger State that they will always be carried along in any intervention from the federal government.
It has been given to us
The governor of Niger State, Alhaji Abubakar Sani Bello, was represented by Alhaji Ahmad Ibrahim Matari, appreciated the endless support of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to the state through the various national social investment programs.
From the shortest time, she's been able to transform the ministry, to what it is today. I would say that it is in tandem with that Niger State benefited so immensely. Last year, in specific, we had clear intervention, for people who are displaced, by, the annual floods on River Niger and River Kaduna, and running to thousands of them. So we thank you, the Honourable Minister.
The grant was then distributed to the women by the minister, assisted by other government functionaries. The minister assessed the exercise at the end of the event.
I have visited so many states in this country. We have done the southwest, we have done the southeast, we have gone to the northwest, we've done northeast, we are now in north central.
What has been the assessment?
Sorry?
The number of the beneficiaries?
They are in thousands. In all, across the country, we are supposed to impact 150,000 beneficiaries.
What has been your assessment?
So far, so good. So far, so good. We have very capable hands in Niger State that are overseeing this program. Barrister Amina is here. The government is committed. They are complementing the federal government's efforts. So it has gone a long way in supporting the poor and vulnerable in the state and in Nigeria in general.
The women received the money with plenty of gratitude, stating how it will improve their trade.
I'll take and buy things for sewing. I'll be tailor. So things for sewing is what I use it for. Yes, my business, yes. Everybody will know it. Yes, thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I tell federal government, thank you. Long life and prosperity. Thank you. May God spare our life.
I would like to say thank you to the government for the assistance we got. May God bless them.
I take this money to do business, I get my own.
I am so happy and I thank God because I have never benefited before. But today, I am a beneficiary. May God bless the government. I trade in firewood. I go to the village to purchase firewood, then I sell it.
The event in Akwa Ibom State started with a courtesy visit to the governor by the delegation from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. They were received by the Deputy Governor, Moses Frank Ekpo. The representative of the Minister and Permanent Secretary, Bashir Umar Al-Kali, expressed the gratitude of the ministry for the excellent preparations put in place for the flag-off while speaking on the purpose of the cash grant to rural women. On the part of the Deputy Governor, he expressed the state's appreciation to the Minister and the President for carrying Akwa Ibom along in the humanitarian interventions to lift the poor and vulnerable out of poverty.
It is not the quantum of the gift, but the heart and the consideration when the gift is done. So we appreciate whatever contribution you are making to make life better for the people of this state through our women, through the women, the beneficiaries will be large.
At the hall where the beneficiaries were gathered, the Permanent Secretary, Bashir Noura Al-Kali, explained that the grant was introduced to sustain the social inclusion agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration.
This grant for rural women that we are launching was introduced in 2020 to sustain the social inclusion agenda of the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. It is consistent with the President's now national vision of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years. A cash grant of 20,000 naira will be disbursed to to about 125,000 women across the 36 states.
He said the money is given to help rural women improve their businesses and livelihood, and encouraged the women to use the money for the purpose it was meant.
That this money belongs to you and to you alone. It is meant for you to use in any small business that you deem fit to help you improve your lives. Please do that when you receive this money.
The state governor, Udom Emmanuel, was represented by the Commissioner of Women Affairs, Ini Adiakpan. She expressed the gratitude of the state to the president and the ministry for always remembering the people of Akwa Ibom State in their various programs, while also encouraging the beneficiaries to make use of the grant to improve their livelihood.
I urge you all to make judicious and economic use of this money to better your lives, and I assure you of government continued support. Thank you very much, and God bless.
20,000 naira was disbursed to 2,700 women in Akwa Ibom State. For the beneficiaries, they were full of thanks for President Muhammadu Buhari and the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development for the support given to them to improve their livelihoods.
I want to thank our President, Muhammadu Buhari, for what he has done for us today. And God will bless him. And the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, Hajia Sadia Omar Farouk, for what she has done for us today. I say, may God bless all of them in Jesus' name. Amen.
I thank my God. As God gave me this money, I want to carry this money, go trip. So God bless the
we are appreciating the minister. She has deemed it fit to see our inside but not outside. Out of disability there is ability, out of ability there is creativity.
I'm happy and I thank the ministry for coming here to assist us, and especially with the food stuff. May God bless all your staff and God bless Nigeria.
The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development in service to humanity.
Welcome back from that break. No doubt human trafficking is a menace. More often than not, young children are taken from their homes and are subjected to inhuman conditions, either within the shores of the country and outside. This modern-day slavery, which continually manifests in various dimensions, is a humanitarian challenge that Nigeria is working hard to stop. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and its agency, National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, have a mandate to fight the scourge of trafficking in persons using the four-pronged approach of prevention, protection, persecution, and partnership. In our next report, we will see an initiative through partnership to help fight this practice. Keep watching.
When the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, received the current DG of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Iman Suleiman, she urged her to collaborate with partner agencies and ministries, build on past successes in order to carry out the mandate of NAPTIP.
So the federal government of Nigeria has and continues to provide support and commitment to the anti-human trafficking cause. Hence, it is my hope that you will build on previous successes and strategic relationships to ensure a collaborative and transformational approach to stemming human trafficking and domestic violence in Nigeria. At this point, I would like to add that you cannot do it alone. You have to reach out to sister agencies, to partners, for you to have an enhanced output.
In line with building such beneficial partnerships, that the agency, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the International Center for Migration Policy Development, recently held the National Education Summit on the rollout of the infused trafficking in persons school curriculum in Nigeria. The Director General of NAPTIP, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, in her speech during the summit spoke about the need for everyone to be concerned about human trafficking.
Human trafficking is a concern that must worry everyone. It constitutes a disparagement of our common sense of humanity. It is a vilification as well as an aberration of our common morality and society structures. But most importantly, for economic consequences, it has inherent human and national security implications, threats to the public health of the population of any nation, both a source, transit, and destination problem, as it pounds the social fabrics of all families.
Iman Suleiman Ibrahim stated that the summit is an assemblage of education policy developers to help devise and articulate efficient, effective, and sustainable weapon to combat the crime of human trafficking. Minister of State for Education Chukwuemeka Wajuba, a critical stakeholder in the rollout, said that the initiative to infuse the issues of trafficking in persons into the national curriculum was informed by the task on the education sector to prevent the menace from the youthful age while transcending into adulthood.
Education has been identified as the most powerful weapon for change in the world. School personnel can be an integral part of the catalyst for change. Everyone in the school has the potential to be an advocate for child victims of human trafficking. But the school community must be at alert to discern the indicators of the crime and how to respond when a student or another person is being provided as a victim. It is imperative to have information about the risk factors, recruitment, and how to identify traffickers using school protocols, policies, other resources, and protection partnership opportunities.
He expressed the belief that early education about trafficking in persons is a step in the right direction. The two-day event brought together different stakeholders from the education sector, as well as partners in the fight against human trafficking and illegal migration bodies. Speaking on human trafficking and illegal migration issues, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, in an interview, said the ministry is in partnership with concerned organizations to bring an end to this social problem.
It's quite a very disturbing situation, seeing your girls being trafficked and then they are subjected to all sorts of inhuman treatment. You know, what they go through, you wouldn't even wish for an animal to go through that, honestly. And so we are working with other relevant government agencies, ministries, to see how we all work together. We're working with the Nigerian Immigration Service through the Ministry of Interior. We're working with the Ministry of Labor and Employment. We're also working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to see how we can all come together, you know, to avert this kind of unfortunate incident.
On that note, we end this episode of Service to Humanity. Join me same time next week for another episode of the program. Until then, do stay safe. See you next time.